guys. So I wanted to come in and do the full wrap up from the card from Bullpen Endgame. Now, as we all know, Cassidy backed out at the last minute. He says he was sick. Others say other things, but hey, we got to go with what's out there. A big part of the conversation is if John the Don knew ahead of time or not. I have a feeling that he didn't. I think that he was trying to figure out what was going on along with everybody else, but at the same time, he was trying to keep a certain type of decorum, if you will, not to panic or, say anything bad or whatever. There was times I've heard a lot of the other bloggers, more experienced bloggers than myself, to speaking about the way things were being advertised and how the marketing scheme of saying that um, Cassidy uh, is being used as a check and things like that wasn't the best way to go. However, I will say though, Cassidy still signed the contract. And I could get both sides of everything. You could feel disrespected, but guess what? You got bars to write. You could have disrespected him on his own platform, if that's how you felt. Like, oh, he wasn't doing right. Was it the money? What was it that made you feel like you had to cancel? You know, but like they said, he said he was sick. There is a little caveat here where it's been noted that No Bars or Knowledge, whichever one, I can't remember, from HHIR did a recording like yesterday or something with the same clothes saying that Cassidy was not going to be in attendance because he was sick. However, he didn't put that message to John the Don, which to me, personally, if that's what had happened, like you knew the information before I knew the information and I'm the one that's carrying the event, if I was John, I would feel deeply disrespected by that. You held on to that. Wow, they were doing face-offs and everything, looking for Cassidy. You kind of every time he's recording, you're always there. Y'all have some type of rapport. If somebody on the face-off actually asked John, like, did you try all the numbers or whatever? And he's like, I called everything. He hasn't returned my call or what have you. It's on the face-off. If you ever want to check it out, John is just as stunned, I think, as everybody else is as far as him not coming to the face-off. I really don't think John knew that Cassidy was going to back out. I really don't think that. Another reason why people was being very suspicious is because this was the day of the event, and usually on the days of the event, the PPV goes up like $10, $15, and so it went up. And the same time it went up, apparently they must have received word like a couple of hours later. So I mean, if that's the case, then of course I can see the initial suspicion of it. But let's get into the context. It seems as if again John the Don did not find out until this morning. However, knowledge or no bars from Hip Hop is Real found out last night or knew about it last night. So it's a lot of little moving parts and everything, and it does leave a lot of room for speculation. But I'm having a hard time believing that John the Don did this purposefully. You know what I'm saying? He called this the end game, and he really wanted to battle Cassidy. So it just seems kind of off the reason why he would do it. I understand past misgivings, but I don't think this is what happened in this scenario. I think this was on Cassidy's team, and I think that's messed up.
Endgame, the end of the night, you know what I mean? As y'all can see, it was flooded out here.
End of the game.
You know what I'm saying? Um, it was a tough morning. I'm not gonna lie, it was a tough morning for the fans.
Now you gotta address some shit too.
Yeah,
right?
no. I was gonna start. I was gonna start with that.
Yeah,
I was gonna start with that.
What the fuck they told you? Knowledge dropped the blog.
No,
slipped up.
I dropped the blog this morning, but what it was is I got the call late last night from Cassidy's peoples,
Right.
like 2 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And when they called me, they said, "Yo, can you send me John's number? We want to let John know Cassidy's not gonna be able to make it. He's throwing up. He's effed up.
Yeah.
He really and we don't want him to get blindsided early in the morning or whatever. And that's why he wasn't able to make it to the face-off.
Right.
So when I called you, your phone was going straight to voicemail. So I said he must be locking in or whatever because I called you a couple times. I said they couldn't reach you.
Right.
It's 2 in the morning. By the time,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I figured that's probably when your phone was back on. I don't know what
Yeah,
on your side.
I got a text. Pretty sure you know who I got a text
Yeah, of course.
at 1:30, but I'm not thinking it's for that.
Got you. Got you.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on. I don't know what the fuck going on. Then so I got a text this morning again. Yo, this is Cass people. Hit me up. You know what I mean? So then I call, and that's when he say, yo, Cassidy got the flu.
Yeah.
I heard the flu.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I heard, they tried to bring him to the face off. Then they was about to go to the hospital. Then
Exactly.
he took him back to the wife.
Yep.
I heard at 10 something this morning.
Yep.
Cash didn't say nothing till 11 something this morning.
Got you.
And then I made an announcement at 12 noon.
Yep.
So
That's a fact.
I didn't bend no nothing. How
Yeah.
the fuck I'm supposed to bend no anything? If
Yeah.
I was gonna tell y'all this morning, that mean I would have told y'all last night.
Exactly.
If I'm trying to pull something and I knew last night, I would have just waited and let it drag out. Because
Yeah.
Cass ain't saying nothing.
Nah, fact.
Cass ain't saying nothing. I'm saying everything. And they can still act like it's an issue.
Yeah, I
Gotta do
see they, it's trying to drag and say stupid shit. I see little scams. So I'm like,
It doesn't make sense.
Like-
This is how I know niggas don't got no type of business mind. And for people to be listening to niggas like that is just it's
Yeah.
insane. Like
Yeah.
you could watch niggas get on camera and say the funny thing is a lot of niggas that's talking about this shit
Yeah.
then say nothing about bullpen last two events.
So aside from that, um, John Jonathan had to really just work with the card that he had, and the card itself still wasn't a bad card. Okay, you had Reggie P versus Danny Myers, you had Shayrak versus Jazz the Rapper, you had Sirius Jones versus Loso, you had Tay Rock versus Clone, and Bad News versus T Rex. So the card by itself, without Cassidy, was still strong. It was still strong. It's all about the actual performance at the end of the day, right? Crowd control and things like that. So let's get into the card a little bit more now. Now, the first battle was Reggie P versus Danny Myers. There was a lot of aggression on Danny Myers' side. He went through his routine, and Reggie P had a couple of things that was some good bars from him. I gotta tell you, and I think it's because of the facility. The crowd just was very, very, very lackluster. Like I think if this was like a tighter crowd, this would be a lot better. But again, this venue was because people was expected to see Cassidy. They had VIP packages and things like that. So I'm quite sure that is the reason why. After I went through and from battle to battle, realizing that crowd just kept getting further away, and I started hearing from other pages that hey, they, the type of venue they had, this why the crowd dispersing and the way you hear the crowd is just so off-putting. But even then, though, even then, if something is fire, it's okay to cheer for it to be fire. That crowd was, I really, that crowd did this whole battle a disservice on this card. That crowd did. It's like each battler had to fight for a reaction, some type of way. Maybe they didn't hear them. Maybe there wasn't enough of the loudness of the microphone. But you hear where even the battlers like turn me up, turn me up. You know what I mean? I don't know. The crowd really made it hard. So they played a pivotal role in this as well. However, from the streaming side of things, um, very good sound. The visuals was very crisp, and it was so crisp. Again, you can really hear whether the crowd was saying something or not, right? So again, the first battle, Reggie P versus Danny Myers. I gave it. I think I said Reggie. To me, it was Reggie. Other people might say Danny Myers. The first is like a debatable to me. Um, if you edge Reggie, I'm not mad at that. But Danny did have some fire lines. Is this worth a replay value to me? Um, Maybe something that you just want to check out just to see, who really won. You might want to consider this a replay value. But I do have a Reggie 2-1 over Danny Myers. I think that's what I have on this personal reaction as well. Okay, so moving from there, let's talk about Shay-Rack and Jazz the Rapper. Now, personally, I think this was battle of the night. I know everybody's talking about the T-Rex one, but both of these ladies was given a wonderful back and forth, a wonderful back and forth. Okay, so like I was saying, we have Shay-Rack versus Jazz the Rapper. This was very good. Like I stated, this was a battle of the night to me. I do have Jazz winning clear 2-1, but there was a lot of great lines from Shay-Rack. You know, she was a little choppy a little bit, but she was okay. You know, she got distracted, or maybe she was trying to stop herself from choking or what have you, because she kept talking to the crowd. Don't get defensive with the crowd. I think she should learn that part. Do not get defensive with the crowd. It doesn't help, but it only helps. It only frustrates you more. But I think as time goes on, she'll know that. Um, she had some great bars here. She had the stumble bar, snap bar. It was a good. The penetrate bar was crazy. The Rick Ross bar was nice. It was a Stockton bar. I'm not going to read all of them. You heard me say earlier about the slaughtered meat rack bar and the natural hair bar. That was so crazy. That garnered a lot of the reaction. I'm telling you right now, each each battle, all of the battle rappers was fighting for crowd reaction. It wasn't because, some of the bars wasn't up to par, what have you. It was because the crowd just wasn't responding like you would expect them to. Like woo. Not that you would want them to respond on every single bar, but I'm like, they're just missing out on all these wonderful bars here. Um, on to Jazz. Jazz had a smooth operator bar that I just thought that was really nice. Pause on rack, a twerk verse that was nice. Three fifths bar was dope. Oh, and I forgot to mention it earlier. She had this bar about construction and women. That bar was fire. That did garner some crowd reaction too. She had a dope Elvis Presley bar and a DWI Lane bar as well. There's several bars. Both women were handling their business all throughout each round. And I again, because of the back and forth and Shay-Rack trying to keep up with Jazz, but Jazz kind of also letting her know like, you a newbie kid. Jazz to me performed like a veteran is supposed to perform. You are not supposed. You might get one round, but you ain't gonna get no more. And I like that. This was clear win for Jazz. And if you remember when I spoke about the predictions, I was saying that Jazz got to win this clear, because if not, in my opinion, if Shay-Rack showed that she could keep up with her, it'll kind of show more. It'll have more pressure on Jazz than Shay-Rack. But I will say, even though Shay-Rack lost, she has a good standing. She went against Jerry West the week before or so, or a couple of weeks before. That was a hard battle. Now she has Jazz. Her resume is filling up, and she's meeting these people at their prime. It's not like they just now started battling. These people has been here for a minute, and they're seasoned, and they are. And I like the fact that Jazz took her serious. She might not have had her very best bars, but she took her at the level she's at, and that's good. She didn't she didn't insult her with basic stuff. I think she did very well. I think she did. I've seen a cold Jazz, but this was nice. I really enjoyed this battle. Is this battle replayable? To me, it is. To me, it is. It's really showing that Shay-Rack is trying to be a real formidable opponent, and that Jazz ain't playing with nobody. So I love that. I love that. Now, and again, you want to check them out because they both was throwing some great bars at each other back and forth. Again, I just want to wrap up real quick. Shay-Rack did stumble a little bit, but she regained herself and she calmed herself down a little bit as well. Okay, so moving on to the next battle, we have Sirius Jones and Loso. Um, this battle was so long. It really it really brought the energy down to me. I'm just being really honest. They both showed up. I was kind of very interested in seeing how this battle was going to go because one being a Christian, of course, and the other being Muslim, and how that was going to work in the grand scheme of rapping. And while they did have that moment, that was okay. Um, this bar wasn't that great to me overall. The crowd reaction wasn't great. It seemed like, and I said this earlier with Sirius Jones, it seemed like he wrote for crowd reaction, and that didn't go right. Loso had was very choppy in certain places, very choppy. Need to be more clean than that. Maybe because he speaks fast, and you have to, you know what I'm saying. When you speak fast, your mind and your mouth gotta match up, something like that. But he had some nice word flips. He had a good bar about Cassidy having the flu. He was talking about something with pimping ain't easy. He did mention the trenches bar. Um, but he had some great word flips on Sirius. Um, Sirius had a false prophet bar that was nice. I thought that was good. Ike and Turner bar, Ike and Turner, Tina Turner bar that was nice. Um, I liked how he did talk about the dichotomy of being a Christian yet talking about gun bars. That was good. Um, the crowd again, the crowd wasn't as receptive for these two. Um, it felt very very long. This battle just seemed like it went on forever. Maybe because Cassidy and John John wasn't performing, everybody felt like they could take extra minutes. I think that the ladies stuck to what their assigned minutes were or close to it, but when I tell you Sirius Jones and Loso battle, it just seemed like it was not going to end. Okay, so with that said, I could see the first possible edge to Loso if you choose that, but oh, this one I believe I gave it to Loso for 2-1, but this was so long. Oh my gosh, it was long. Okay, so moving on to Tay Rock and Cole, and when I mean long, this took the cake for Sirius and Loso because Tay Rock and Clone's battle was long, mostly because of Tay Rock. Now, I said some things on the last one, which was basically that Tay Rock rapped for such a long time to where I don't know if he's doing this as a strategic move. But I mean, he even said, as I stated previously, that he rapped that he doesn't follow the rules. I don't know why not, because at a certain point, it's almost like, okay, man, damn, like come on, like let's go next round because now you're holding up everybody else's thing. And I was thinking about this, and I could be totally, totally wrong. I have no information, but I don't know if Tay Rock did this when it's URL's card. I don't know if he does that or not, right? Because I don't have the app, and so I don't want to go off assuming. But it seems that when he's taking these other cards, like say he like King of the Dot, he did this same type of tactic last last time with King of the Dot with Big K. Now personally, I got Big K winning, and to me Big K, based on the substance and what was being said, Big K won that battle to me 2-1. I know a lot of people may have had Rock, but I don't. I seen it as Big K for me. Um, but he did the same thing. He rapped for a very long time. And after a while, it's just like the only thing you're hearing is the rhyming of the words, like the last part of the words. You're not really hearing the substance to me. Maybe it's me because I'll tune out of something that just seems like it's being intentionally, oh, not obnoxious, but it just felt like he was just going that long just to go that long for no reason. You know what I mean? So his first round was very long. Um, Clone kind of copied that memo for the second round, so he made his round longer too. And in the third round, Tay Rock went kind of far a little bit as well. It was shorter than the other round, but it was still long. I like Clone's third round better than his second round. but I liked his first and his third as well. Now I gave it to Clone, and I actually said like 2-1 at the least, possibly a gentleman's 30. To me, Clone had more substance in his bars. There were some quotables from Ted Rock, of course, yes, but this was a very hard battle to watch. This was a very hard battle to listen to all the way through, or even though I did, because of the longevity of the battle, that just did not make any sense to me. But I did give this to Clone. I may be the only one, but that's what I. To me, it doesn't make Rock look any less than a legend. But just on what was going on tonight, I gave it. I gave it to Clone. Um, would I watch this battle again? Probably not. Probably not. Mm-mm. Moving on to the next battle. The next battle is Bad News and T Rex, and this was the last battle of the night. Now, what was really cool about this battle is that they were able to gain the momentum back from when the ladies was trying to set the bar for everybody else for the rest of the battles. Because the very first battle, yeah, Danny and Reggie P was, aggressive, loud, rapping hard, but it just, again, that crowd just wasn't taking it, wasn't taking it. But the ladies, they were able to get some of that crowd control and get to what they needed to do. I think that once Rex got in there, like Rex and I will even say, Bad News did their best to save the night. They did their best. Hey, they was rapping. They were rapping, and again, I want to say condolences to Bad News. He lost his father, and he gave us 3 rounds, the best that he could give us. You know what I mean? And I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm just saying that you think about everything in context to this battle between Bad News and Rex. Rex was on one. He was definitely on one. He had great crowd control. Stage presence was great. Uh, Fantastic, fantastic. There's nothing that I could say wrong about Rex's performance. He had some great quotables. Bad News did very good as well. Very, very aggressive though, extra aggressive for the bars that he was spitting. It was just so aggressive, and maybe that was just his way of just getting out the anger and the pain and what have you. And if so, I totally get it. I totally get it. You have to really, now that that's over with, now you have to sit with yourself and go through your emotions. You know what I mean? So again, I just want to say condolences to Bad News on losing his family. Um, Bad News had a cool bar about Croc, and the jealous bar was nice. T Rex had this bar about Trick Dice, by him and his homie and Trick Dice. That bar was so hard, and he did the math coming bar. That was a nice bar too. I'm gonna give this to T Rex deservingly. I mean, if you say 2-1, okay, I can see a 30. I can honestly say it can be a 30, but not a nasty 30. Just a nice gentleman, martini type gentleman's 30, you know. But if you say 2-1, I can understand that as well, maybe, but I just seen it as a 30. But I will say that this battle did save that crowd, like that crowd reaction. I hated that I really did hate that for John John, because this was like an uphill battle to see at on the card, was this crowd and the way they responded. And the fact that you didn't get to see John John, utilize his skill for tonight's battle, it's kind of like, dang man, what would have been said. But let's talk about that. I get it that the main event didn't happen, but there has been plenty of times where we have been disappointed by the main event, and the rest of the card is what kept that card afloat. We have had a couple of main events in the past that you thought, just because of the names, the performances, the sheer personas of the people, that it's gonna be like Clash of the Titans. and then it ended up being really lackluster, and you're like, oh my god. And then you sit back and think about, wow, at least they had the undercard or the other people on the card that was able to maintain. So in this card, would have been great for Cassie to be there. Yeah, yeah. Um, did it change anything really? I don't think it would have. I really don't understand, and I've been saying this for the longest, and there is no slight to John John. I never understood why Cassidy and John John was battling in the first place, but from my understanding, John John was saying how he is the end game. So okay, it's just it never made sense to me. But all right, it's just what it is. Okay, so we have some next cards that we're going to be talking about later. I wanted this to be its own full review um, of Endgame. I'm hoping that John John may come out and do a little bit more of explaining, if you will, as far as with his card and what he expected, and some things that he could possibly change. The business behind certain things. I know he can't talk about the full business, but just some things that he know that he might need to tighten up on himself as well. And things like that. And I just want to say thank you to the battlers. Y'all came out, y'all did what you could do. I'm again, my opinion on who won is probably totally different from anybody else's, but at the end of the day, y'all showed up and y'all did y'all best on the performances that you gave us. So just thank you to the battlers for doing that, and thank you, John, for having a great streaming view. It was very clear. It was very clean. I didn't have any problems with sound. I know some people may have had to refresh their browser and stuff like that from what I was seeing, but I had a great, I had a great view. I didn't have any problems about that. Um, but that's all I have. So this is me wrapping this up for Battle Rap Street Team. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Please. Also, you'll find out more details about our Road to 1,000 $100 giveaway and $50 giveaway that will be showing soon. So look out for that. And again, just comment below what you think, who you think won, who you think will be a better match next time. How do you feel about the event? Things like that. I really want to know. Okay, y'all. Have a great one. Bye.